Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. Another day of like a little bit of a wet blanket type action. There were definitely some things to do. You know, as you know, I've been in some kind of portfolio approach pretty much since the election, trying to massage positions, take on tiers, take them off, go through different sectors, find nice cash flow trades, and just also not get caught sleeping behind the wheel. So at this point, I still think there's a lot to like, but you know, it's getting a little wishy-washy, meaning just I want you to take a little bit of care. Doesn't mean you could just press shorts, you know, but it does mean that you might not want to have so many things out there. You want to be a little bit closer to the vest just in case things get shaken up. Real quickly, go to the chart of the spiders. All in all, you know, just to give you a quick little, this was the pre-election sell-off, and then here was your rally back up, and then boom. This was your wake-up wide range bar to wake it up. Here, digested higher, gave you your move, went sideways again, took this out, and now it's doing a whole lot of choppiness. So I guess you could draw this like this now, and it's still above the 8-day moving average, but it's just, you know, not in getting into high gear yet. Okay, all in all, the last time I tried to break out, which was pretty much Friday, it's still holding above it. It's just not a lot of power. Listen, there are definitely some times and time and place to be in these things. In the morning, there was a good spider trade. So just say this. Look, this is the low. Write this down. Quick little lesson. 226.42. People were asking what the red dog reversal is. 226.42. Write that down. The 8-day to start was actually 226 this morning. So this morning, when the spiders came in on the 5-minute chart, okay, and went, okay, to, here's the open, okay, went below, all right, this was yesterday's low. This is your red dog reversal point. Went below, tagged, okay, this is the morning, tagged the morning low, okay, tagged the 8-day, came up right around here in the VTF. I started buying the spiders. Why did I start buying the spiders? I thought maybe it could reclaim the prior low, which would have been a red dog reversal of 226.42. Bought tier 1, bought tier 2, gave you a quick move, held higher, and then gave you another move above this congestion. So right around here, I think I started tweeting saying, hey, you know, tactically, if you bought 226.41 versus the 8-day, you know, trim and trail. Then it went even a little bit further. I'm like, woo, $1 higher. And why not trim and trail here? Right back into prior resistance. Okay, and then if you just say you bought here and added here and sold into tier 1, maybe you bought it back and then sold into tier 1 again and then held it and then got stopped out basically when you had this small little 5-minute head and shoulders pattern where you had the left shoulder of the head, the right shoulder, and then this kind of, you know, stopped a lot of guys out. And then you had a retracement. I know on the VTF I was trying to buy this bounce a little bit, sold some strength, and then I just took off the spiders into the close just because I don't feel like being in indices tonight, just because if the indices opening down and they don't recover, you know, I'd rather be in some stocks. At least you have the benefit of the doubt that are strong. What are some of those stocks? I am in very small Amazon. I think it's consolidating well. Okay, my meaty trade when I had a lot overnight, full options position, was down here. Now I just want to stay with the trade. I feel like you're getting a nice little bull flag, and at some point the market hangs in there. This can go again. So perhaps another day of sideways. You could be a buyer versus the low here of 789.54, and then you will avoid a little bit of a dip, and then if it gets above this 801 next time, perhaps it tries to fill this gap up to 820. That's in a good market. So nice little flag here. Meaty buy, sell some, prove it could hold higher, go again. We'll see. Google the same thing. Google, you know, had a really nice trade. I don't know if this is a false sense of security. Everyone's like, red dog, you know, it's a false sense of security. It's not digesting, it's stalling, it's going to break down. Well, at this point, you know what? It's holding above a prior pivot. This was your meaty trade here. We talked about from the Redler all access note, and now you're in small, waiting to see if it could hold higher and digest. So this way, if it gets above this, you're not just buying highs, you're in it versus a level. So that's how I would say to do it. Tesla, I did not buy back. I came in long, I sold it when it was green. For me, it's like not a real flag here. It's just kind of extended, and I think it needs a little bit more time. Last time we talked about a really nice juicy buy was, you know, actually a little bit lower. Where was it? Somewhere around here. And then the production, remember, was down $3 and then took this out, went green, and now just think it needs a little bit more time. Ultimately, I do think Tesla goes higher. Okay, but at this point, just not as it doesn't look as, you know, symmetrical to me as, you know, the Amazon and the Google. And I'm not in Google. I'm only in the Amazon. And then I've tried to look for some off the bean path type stuff because some things look like they need time, so I'm trying to find where the action is. So a lot of guys were talking about this little thing, Biotech, B-I-C, so I am in this small, it's come from a lot higher. There's your big volume spike. So maybe this day one leads to something. Last time it didn't, this time it didn't. There was some pretty heavy volume. I don't even know the volume of some of the other ones. This SRPT woke some things up. Nice volume spike on news. So maybe this time it leads to a little bit more follow through. I'm in a little bit of that. So if you can look in the, if you're part of Redler All Access, you look at my disclosures. I told you on RA what I was in. So, in this, just for something, even though it's not on my real go-to list stocks. So, I did, the Chinese names were very strong today. I did come in with Baba. We talked about it with Annabelle. We talked about Baba and how cool it could be that, he met with Donald Trump. And this is when, we put it in Redler All Access when it broke the descending trend line. Here was your nice little bull flag. So I was a buyer versus 93. Here was some follow through. So at this point, I went flat just because of the size of the move that it had. But this was your meaty trade. You would have follow through. Maybe you got back to tier one and said, oh, look at it going sideways, letting the moving averages catch up. Let me get back in. Especially considering that you have press everywhere with him and Donald, and then boom. 2 days ago, I put in a test on the morning note, giving you a buy pivot, and it had a nice move. The buy pivot was right here. Boom, to take out the 50-day. Nice 2-day move. Maybe you reduced or maybe even sold it. I am in JD overnight. This to me, it's not like it hasn't like ignited yet and fully, showed you that it's ready to go. But to me, you have this descending trend line here. Some of the Chinese names are acting better. I saw some volume today, and it poked its head up. So I'm in some, and I want to see, maybe it gets going. I know there are some decent hedge fund guys that like it, and it's above the moving averages. And there was a big block cross today, and ultimately, I don't want to chase it. So I figure like maybe it's worth a tester here, or maybe even buying some calls a few months out, maybe by the 30s, because that's probably where it gets above. So JD to me looks tight enough to go with. Baidu had a big move. Not in that. At some point, maybe this Baidu does wake up. You have this big descending trend line here too, a little bit higher. It's been dead for a long time. This has been the class of the ETFs for China, and at this point, it held this support going sideways. I'm not sure what the catalyst could be here, but it's acting better, worth noting. It has come a little bit of a long way, though, short term, from last week. So I would give it a little bit of time. So you got to go where the money is. I actually bought a coal stock. I think this is a coal stock, CLF. I never trade this thing, but you know what? It woke up way back when, okay, and then if this was a tech stock, I would have been in it. Why would I have been in it? Because you had a nice day one above the moving averages and had a decent pullback from the $11 area. So why not buy a little bit here, for it to potentially continue back up? So different type of stock versus my Facebooks and my Apples and my this and my that. Meanwhile, Facebook, I think, gave somebody, some guys a little bit of cash flow. Why was it cash flow? Because we talked about the red dog reversal. What's a red dog reversal after a big move? Well, it slightly went above a prior high, which was 125.43, went to 125.50. That means you could have had 7 cents in risk, okay? Because came back below it. It definitely messed around a little bit, but never went back above it to stop you out. And where to close? 124.35. So you could have made $1 with 7 cents worth of risk after a 6-day move. So to me, if you took that short, congratulations. I stared at it. I just didn't do it. Maybe at some point it works its way down to this spot and then builds another bull flag here. But if you're in it for quick cash flow, maybe you had a few on. You took some home just in case you get some follow through. All in all, this has been a really nice move. I'd love to see it come back in, and maybe this is a start. Maybe it's not. We'll see how it opens tomorrow. That's it. Basically, markets, actually real quickly, IWM gave some clues at first why the market wasn't going to break. I put the chart up, said that you can't get too bearish if it doesn't break this 134.50, which it didn't. It bounced off, and it's still in this channel. Okay, buying the high end of the channel is not working these days, and neither is shorting the low end. So we'll see if that changes. That's what you call a consolidation. Goldman Sachs was downgraded today. I think it was pretty interesting that it did not go down. So maybe they're still buying these things for another move after earnings, and those earnings are going to start on Friday. In Redler All Access, I tweeted that I bought BAC calls for Friday's earnings, and that was before the move. Okay, and all in all, it does seem as if the earnings are going to be decent after sideways for almost 2 months now, you're going to get that move above 23.50 to, bigger targets. So this was actually stronger than most banks today. So again, little things to do, massage positions, go through where the money's going. The bios were unbelievable. The IBBs, we put that in also the report saying if it can take back, what was it, 275, that was down here. It could come into play, and it took it back, and not only did it take it back, now you're at 288. So it's been trading in a nice buy the dip type of fashion. I unfortunately traded it for 2 days and then got away from it, but I had other things working. So if you stayed with it, congrats. Here's your next point of reference. So there is a bit more room. Just don't be too big, as it's had a nice move already. But also don't just be short, considering this has done a whole heck of a lot of nothing, since the peak way back here. It's only over here. So there is some room to 2 different resistance points if you're just looking to short it because you don't think it can go higher, but you shouldn't have thoughts. You should let the market confirm them. And right now, boom, back above the 200-day, and dips are being bought. Stay with it until it changes. Got to jump. I'll see you tomorrow morning in the morning call. Bye-bye.